What if the key to vibrant health wasn't some expensive supplement or grueling workout, but something you already do every single day, just at the wrong times? What if the simple, profound act of timing when you drink water could fundamentally change how you feel, think, and even how you age? Most people will dismiss this, thinking they already know how to drink water, but 99% will miss the final critical insight that ties it all together, the one that explains why so many of us feel tired and foggy despite drinking enough. Ignore this, and you risk missing the true source of your body's deepest energy. Morning ritual. It's a strange thing how we begin our days. We wake up, and immediately we are in a state of deficit. For 7, 8, maybe 9 hours, our body has been in a constant state of repair, of regeneration, of cleansing, and all of that metabolic activity, all of that silent, beautiful work requires a resource. It requires water. So we awaken not just from sleep, but from a period of intense internal labor, having given up a significant amount of our hydration to fuel that process through our breath, through our skin. And yet, what is the first thing so many of us reach for? We reach for a stimulant. We reach for something that will jolt the system awake, something that will mask the underlying need with a fleeting surge of artificial energy. We demand our engine to roar to life before we've even thought to give it the coolant it desperately needs to function. It's a habit born of culture, of hustle, of a fundamental disconnect from the natural rhythm of our own biology. We've been taught to seek a quick fix for the gentle grogginess of morning rather than seeing it for what it truly is, a signal, a quiet, humble request from our body for replenishment. Think about it this way. Imagine a plant that has been sitting in the dark all night. When the sun finally rises, its first need isn't to be given a chemical to force its leaves open faster. Its first need is water at its roots. The water is what allows it to stand tall, to turn its face to the sun, and to begin the process of photosynthesis, the process of creating energy. Our bodies are no different. That first glass of water in the morning, ideally at room temperature so as not to shock the system, isn't just about quenching thirst. It's a profound act of reawakening. It's sending a message to every single cell that the time for rest and repair is over and the time for gentle, sustained energy has begun. It's flushing out the metabolic waste that has accumulated overnight, cleansing the kidneys, and preparing the digestive system for its first meal. When you drink that water before anything else, you are honoring the work your body did while you slept. You are partnering with your biology, not fighting against it. This simple act is a form of deep respect for the vessel that carries you through this life. So many of us walk around in a state of chronic low-grade dehydration without even realizing it. We mistake the subtle signals for other things. That feeling of brain fog in the morning, we call it not being a morning person. That slight headache or feeling of tension, we blame it on stress or a bad night's sleep. That craving for something sweet or savory soon after waking, we see it as a lack of willpower. But in so many cases, these are just different dialects of the same language, the language of thirst. Our body is communicating a fundamental need, but we've forgotten how to listen. The first drink of the morning is a reset. It's a chance to recalibrate our senses and start the day from a place of balance and clarity, not from a place of deficit and demand. It is the most foundational act of self-care you can perform, setting the energetic and metabolic tone for the entire day to come. To skip it is to start a long and arduous race a mile behind the starting line, wondering why you always feel like you're struggling to catch up. The quality of this morning ritual matters too. It's not about chugging a gallon of ice cold water in 10 seconds. It's about a mindful practice. It's about feeling the water enter your body, about visualizing it hydrating your organs, lubricating your joints, and awakening your mind. This is a moment of grounding, a moment to connect with yourself before the demands of the world rush in. It's a quiet promise you make to your body. I will listen to you today. I will provide for you today. We are in this together. When you begin your day with this intentional act of nourishment, the cascade of benefits is almost impossible to overstate. Your digestion improves, your skin begins to glow with a new vitality, your energy levels become more stable and sustained, and your mind feels sharper and more resilient. All of this from one simple conscious choice made in the quiet, sacred moments of the early morning. before the noise begins. It's not just hydration, it's an inauguration. The inauguration of a day lived in conscious partnership with your own life force. Midday momentum. The day unfolds. The pressures mount. Emails, deadlines, meetings, the constant pull of external demands. Our focus shifts outward and our internal awareness begins to fade. And this is precisely when the second critical window for hydration occurs, a window that most of us miss entirely. We get so caught up in the doing and the producing that we neglect the very fuel our brain and body need to perform these tasks effectively. We start to feel that mid afternoon slump, that familiar wave of fatigue and mental friction that hits somewhere between 1 and 3 o'clock. And what do? We repeat the mistake of the morning. We reach for another cup of coffee, a sugary snack, or an energy drink. We seek another external jolt to override the body's signal, pouring more stress on an already taxed system. We are trying to whip a tired horse instead of giving it the water it needs to continue the journey. This is a battle against ourselves, and it's a battle we are destined to lose. The truth is, this mid afternoon crash is not an inevitable part of the human experience. It's a symptom, it's a direct consequence of escalating dehydration compounded by the digestive load of lunch. Think about what's happening internally. Your body is working hard to break down and assimilate the food you ate. This process itself requires a significant amount of water. If you were already starting from a slight deficit and you don't replenish your fluids before and after your meal, you are creating a perfect storm for an energy crisis. Your body has to make a choice. Does it prioritize digestion or does it prioritize cognitive function and muscular energy? Often, blood flow is diverted to the digestive system, leaving your brain and muscles feeling sluggish and depleted. That feeling of wanting to take a nap on your desk is a very real, very physical cry for help. It's your body telling you that it doesn't have enough fluid to run all of its systems optimally at the same time. This is why the timing of your midday hydration is so profoundly important. Drinking a large glass of water about 30 minutes before you eat your lunch is a game changer. It accomplishes two things. First, it ensures your body is well hydrated before it takes on the demanding task of digestion, preventing that resource diversion crisis. It's like filling up the car with gas before you set off on a long road trip. Second, it can help create a sense of fullness, promoting more mindful eating and preventing the overconsumption that can lead to an even more severe energy slump. Then, after your meal, it's crucial to wait a bit. Don't immediately flood your system with water, as this can dilute the essential digestive juices that are working to break down your food. Instead, wait for about an hour and then resume sipping water steadily throughout the afternoon. This isn't about drinking a huge amount all at once, it's about maintaining a consistent level of hydration. This steady, mindful approach to afternoon hydration does more than just prevent fatigue. It sustains your cognitive momentum. Our brains are incredibly sensitive to hydration status. Even a mild level of dehydration can impair concentration, memory, and reaction time. That report you're struggling to finish, that creative problem you can't seem to solve, how much of that is genuine difficulty, and how much is simply a brain that is starved for water. When you keep your brain properly hydrated, your thoughts flow more easily, your focus remains sharp, and your resilience to stress increases. You are no longer fighting against your own biology. You are providing the very resource that allows your mind to operate at its peak potential. It's the difference between trying to walk through thick mud and gliding effortlessly across a smooth surface. By honoring this midday window, you are not just surviving the afternoon. You are unlocking a new level of productivity and mental clarity that allows you to thrive. Evening elixir. As the day winds down, a different kind of wisdom is required. The energetic outward focus of the afternoon begins to soften, and the body starts to prepare for its nightly cycle of rest and repair. Our approach to hydration must also shift to align with this changing internal landscape. The goal is no longer about fueling performance and momentum, but about setting the stage for deep restorative sleep and efficient detoxification. Many people either make the mistake of drinking large amounts of water right before bed, leading to interrupted sleep from needing to use the restroom, or they stop drinking altogether in the early evening, setting themselves up for that morning state of deficit we spoke of earlier. Both are misaligned with the body's needs. The key in the evening is not about volume, but about tapering your intake in a way that supports rather than disrupts your natural sleep cycles. This is a time for gentle, mindful sips, not for frantic rehydration. The hours between your last meal and your bedtime are a golden opportunity. Continuing to sip small amounts of water during this period supports the final phases of digestion and begins to prepare the body for the cleansing processes that occur during sleep. Think of it as a final, gentle rinse for your system before it goes into its nightly maintenance mode. This can be particularly important if you've had a rich or salty dinner, as it helps your body to process the sodium and prevent that feeling of morning puffiness and water retention. It's a delicate balance. You want to provide enough fluid for your body to do its work without overfilling the bladder and signaling your brain to wake you up in the middle of the night. True restorative sleep, the kind that allows for deep healing and memory consolidation, is dependent on long, uninterrupted cycles. Sacrificing that for the sake of aggressive hydration is counterproductive. A beautiful and effective practice is to have your last glass of water about 1 to 2 hours before you intend to go to sleep. Make this your cutoff point. This gives your body ample time to process the fluid and for your kidneys to do their work before you lie down. This isn't a rigid rule, but a principle to be adapted to your own body's unique rhythms. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to whether you are waking up at night. Your body is your greatest teacher, and it will give you clear feedback if you are willing to listen. That last glass of water can become a part of your winding down ritual, just like turning off screens, reading a book, or meditating. It's a signal to your mind and body that the day is complete, and it's time to transition into a state of rest. This act of conscious cessation is just as important as the act of conscious consumption. This mindful evening approach has a profound impact on the quality of your rest. When your body is properly hydrated, but not overhydrated, it can slip more easily into the deeper stages of sleep. All of the vital functions that depend on these stages, hormone regulation, muscle repair, brain detoxification through the lymphatic system, can proceed without interruption. You wake up feeling not just rested, but genuinely restored. You feel a sense of inner cleanliness and clarity rather than that familiar grogginess and thirst. You have given your body the exact resource it needed to perform its sacred nightly duties, and you have done so with a wisdom that honors the delicate dance between activity and rest. You are no longer leaving your hydration to chance, but are consciously orchestrating it as a seamless, supportive rhythm that carries you through the full 24-hour cycle of your life. It's the final piece of the daily puzzle, ensuring that one day flows gracefully and energetically into the next. Beyond thirst. We have been conditioned to believe that thirst is the only reliable indicator that we need to drink water. We wait for that sensation of a dry mouth or a scratchy throat, and only then do we reach for a glass. But this is a profound and fundamental misunderstanding of our own biology. Thirst, in its most noticeable form, is not an early warning sign. It is a lagging indicator. It is an emergency signal from a body that is already well on its way to a state of dehydration. By the time you feel actively thirsty, your body may have already lost a significant percentage of its water, and your physical and cognitive performance has already begun to decline. To live your life waiting for the alarm bell of thirst before you take a drink is to live in a constant reactive cycle of deficit and recovery. It is to accept a lower state of functioning as your baseline. The true path to optimal vitality lies in moving beyond thirst and learning to hydrate proactively, guided by a deeper awareness and a more consistent discipline. This requires a shift in mindset. It's a shift from seeing water as a cure for a problem, thirst, to seeing it as the very foundation of our well-being, something that must be constantly maintained, like the foundation of a house. It means recognizing the more subtle signals of dehydration that we so often ignore or misinterpret. That slight feeling of fatigue, the inability to focus, a subtle feeling of irritability or anxiety, a craving for sugary foods, these are often the body's quieter, earlier whispers for water. When you start to tune into these signals, You develop a new level of communication with your body. You begin to understand its nuanced language, and you can respond to its needs with wisdom and foresight rather than waiting for it to scream for help. You become a steward of your own energy, not just a passive passenger subject to its mysterious fluctuations. Creating a rhythm and a ritual around your water intake is the key to transcending the tyranny of thirst. You don't wait for your car's engine to overheat before you check the coolant. You maintain it as part of a regular schedule. The same principle applies here. The morning ritual, the pre lunch hydration, the steady sipping in the afternoon, and the gentle tapering in the evening, these are not just random tips, they form a system. It's a system designed to keep your body in a state of optimal hydration throughout the day so that it never has to resort to sending out that desperate alarm signal of thirst. It's about creating a habit so deeply ingrained that it becomes second nature, freeing your mind and body from the energy sapping cycle of dehydration. This is what it means to be truly proactive about your health. Ultimately, this journey is about reclaiming a lost connection. In a world that constantly pulls our attention outward, the simple act of drinking water mindfully can become a profound spiritual practice. It is a repeated daily opportunity to turn your focus inward, to check in with yourself, and to honor the incredible, intelligent system that is your body. It teaches you to listen, to be patient, and to provide for yourself with a gentle and consistent love. When you hydrate with this level of intention, water ceases to be just a substance. It becomes a medium of communication, a tool for grounding, and an elixir for a life lived with greater energy, clarity, and peace. You stop living at the mercy of your symptoms and start living from the source of your strength. This is the ultimate freedom, not just freedom from thirst, but freedom from the fog of a life half lived. You are a divine work of art, a universe of breathtaking complexity housed in a vessel that asks for so little. Give it the simple, pure element it needs not just to survive, but to express its fullest, most vibrant potential. This isn't about perfection, it's about a gentle, consistent, and loving return to the simplest truth of your own nature. It's about providing the clear, life giving water that allows your own inner light to shine without obstruction today and every day that follows. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Which part of this message made you realize you've been ignoring your own body's whispers?